Yes, indeed, folks, you listen to Blue Please, you're on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit, and you should consider yourself lucky. You've gotten half a show and you haven't paid anything for it. In this modern world, that is, ladies and gentlemen, socialist. We can't have that. We're talking about the pet store and how it's a really bad idea now, and not how it might be in the future. Let me tell you about something that I saw a little while ago. This was on a website that I frequent. It's run by 4 very talented game journalists. It's a PC website called rockpapershotgun.com. That's rockpapershotgun.com. It's Jim Rossignol, Kieran Gillen, who you should know from PC Gamer, Eurogamer, and every gamer, Alec Meir, and John Walker. And they do articles on PC gaming. It's very good. I like reading it. There was an article they did, let's try it again. Whatever. It was an article on Project Entropia, which is a game in which you pay for virtual property. Yes. Basically everything in the game is virtual property. And the thing has become a giant, horrific pyramid scheme. It doesn't help that it's not a very good game, either. Whereas you've got the tiny minority in game making a lot of money off of it, and everyone else is pouring money into the game for no appreciable return. And, of course, it was rightfully slammed on this website. Now, along came some Project Entropians, I suppose you could call them, defending the game to the hilt rabidly, zealously, attacking the experienced game journalists. And yes, they are very experienced with pedigrees, so you can't really do that. Say, oh, you're a useless game reviewer. Well, they're not really. They're some of the most qualified game reviewers in the world, but okay, whatever. The vitriol, the zealous attitude, the rabid attacks, the aggressiveness, and it made me realize something that I should have realized a while ago. It sort of links into the talk that I did a few years back on addiction to video games and how they basically don't exist. Now, what I've come to the conclusion is that, yes, addiction to video games does not exist. However, in terms of MMOs, and this is something I sort of touched on in the lecture, but I've expanded since then, thankfully. Within MMOs, if you play for a long period of time, you become invested in the game, one way or the other. Because you've spent so much time and indeed subscription money on a character, you find it harder and harder to leave. Because you want to see a return on that investment. You want to see a continuing return on that investment. Now, of course, with World of Warcraft, you're not going to see a monetary return, but you can see a return in terms of enjoyment. Which is fine, that's what games are about, right? However, where this pet store becomes very, very cunning, very sneaky, is that when one becomes invested in a character, one wants to do everything they possibly can to make that character unique, and that's in a world of homogenization. Notice the homogenization over the past year or so, where everyone is being given the same gear. Everyone looks the same. There's not a lot to differentiate people. They've tried to level it out as much as possible. So, what you have to do in order to differentiate yourself is either have a great personality and be famous on a server, which only the tiny minority can be, and in my experience, most people that play World of Warcraft have vile, horrible personalities that I wouldn't want to interact with in a million years. However, what you could do is get something unique, something that other people don't have. Like, say, a pet. I have a couple of pets. I've got a Murky. That's very unique. I'm the only one on the server with it, I think. I have a Murloc suit. I'm one of only 2 or 3 people on the server with it. Of course, I didn't pay for any of these things, but whatever. I've got a couple of things that I got from the TCG, because I used to play it. I was lucky enough to get a disco ball, and one of those tabard things, and recently got the shirt of epicness, or whatever it is. Yes, I did just say epic. That makes my character unique. Now, by offering little things like that for purchase, you are tapping directly into the psyche of an invested player by saying, look at this. It's something that you can have. You can enhance your character. You can make him better. You can make yourself more unique. Because, of course, not everyone's going to be able to afford this pet. Not everyone's going to be willing to. So, hey, you have something that other people don't have. You are unique. You are special. Your investment is worthwhile. We would like you to continue to play. Might sound like psychological BS, but think about it. Think about your personal desire in game. What is it that drives you? What is it that keeps you playing? And indeed, how many times have you been tempted to either acquire a WoW TCG item or go for something that requires a lot of effort that other people do not have? Titles, achievements, items, many things, mounts, something like that. How many times? I would imagine the majority of you at some point have lusted after such an item in order to maintain your unique nature on the realm and to enhance the value of your character. Even though before, a couple of days ago, your character intrinsically had no value whatsoever. It does now, apparently. According to Blizzard, virtual items now have value because they're selling them. They have real-world dollar value. Now, again, you might think that this is all hogwash, but I'm going to be honest here. I don't think it is. I'm not just putting this out there for the sake of argument. I genuinely believe that this is what Activision Blizzard are tapping into. The investment in the game. And it's a double-edged sword. Except both of those edges happen to be in Activision's favour, because it's wangling off of one of the many-eyed tentacles coming from Bobby Kotick's head. Well out of danger. This is the other thing. When you invest money in your character, you become less willing to leave, because you see an intrinsic value in your character. Yes. I, for instance, don't really want to leave, because I've got a lot of unique stuff. I wouldn't want to delete my account, I wouldn't want to leave my account, because I've got so much stuff. I've got cool things. They have value in the real world, if I were able to sell them, which of course I'm not. They represent certain things, they represent certain achievements. Like, say, my Fetish of the Sand Reaver. That represents a time when I was able to raid some of the hardest raid content at the time, and do so successfully on my own power, with 39 other people, obviously. I keep that around, it represents something. It's a tracking of my history within the game, and those that I have interacted with. Now, the more stuff like that I acquire, the less willing I am to leave the game. So what you have is a situation where your players buy stuff for their characters with real money. The money goes directly to you at zero cost. It's pure profit. These items are infinite. And in turn, they don't feel like leaving the game anymore. It's sneaky, isn't it? But if you want a reason why this is a bad idea, then there's one right there. It's a cynical attempt to keep people in the game. Not by providing good content, not by providing reasons, not by providing good endgame content, challenging stuff, by balancing out the PvP, by giving folks what they want. No. It's a cash-in, and it keeps people in the game via psychological investment. Am I done? No. I've got plenty of other reasons why this is a bad idea. Consider this. Someone, somewhere, has got to be designing these items. Yes. A team. Probably not a very big team, but a team nonetheless. Now, for the first time, as far as I'm concerned, well, that's not true. I won't go that far. It's not for the first time. But there have been complaints in the past that have not been taken seriously, whereby something has been designed that not all players get access to. And in turn, people have turned around and said, "Oi! What are you doing? You should be spending this time doing this." And to some degree they had a point, and then to some other degree they didn't. However, these were very infrequent. We're talking things like Murky. And Murky was reused in all manner of different things. You get all colours of Murky that were going out for contests and all things like that. I believe they also became a mob in the game at one point. If I remember correctly, you were able to release them in some kind of quest. Maybe I'm wrong. We had the Murloc suit and things like that. Blizzard Bear Mount. Not that there's a lot required in the Blizzard Bear Mount, there's just stuck a Murky on top of a bear. The Grunty, things like that. But these are very rare. I mean, that's like 4 items in 5 years. Now, someone somewhere has got to be designing this stuff, and I must attest that I believe that Blizzard will be introducing a lot more of these things. They will just continue to churn them out. Because pet collectors and people who invest in the game and want to be unique, they just want to buy. So you've got to sate that desire. So there's a design team somewhere that is not working on proper content. And they're making content which is not accessible to the entire player base. Yes, some players do not have credit cards. It's as simple as that. They can't buy from this store. So you're making content that's not accessible to everyone in-game. That's a segregation of the player base. And it might be a minor thing, but to me that's yet again a U-turn. they've wanted for so long to let everyone have access to everything, and now suddenly they're introducing something that everyone does not and cannot have access to. It's such a minor thing, but again, it's a U-turn in policy, and that's dangerous. It's very dangerous, because that's set a precedent. You don't want that, because then they've got a carte blanche to do whatever the hell they please. Now, here's the thing. I don't think you're going to get value for this, because if you're giving more money to a company, specifically for one product, one would expect a better service in return, right? I mean, we're injecting Blizzard with more cash. For nothing. At all. We're not even talking about server maintenance or anything like that. We are pumping cash in for something that can be infinitely replicated. It doesn't require server capacity. It doesn't require GMs. We're not talking about loads of more players that now need more GMs and more support, bigger, more stable infrastructure, that kind of thing. We're talking about something that can be infinitely replicated for 0 cash. 100% profit. Are you going to see value add for that? I don't think you are, honestly. I would expect now, if Blizzard were sticking to their word, as it were, to say, right, well, you're giving us more money, so in return we're going to give you more content. Is that going to happen? No. No, it's not. Don't be absurd. Absolutely not. Now, what I also object to is the sneaky method of trying to soften the introduction of this particular cash grab, and that's with the charity donation. It's nasty. Because when you've got to go up against someone who is making a charitable donation, you automatically feel guilty for doing so. Nasty, isn't it? Very unpleasant. It's a divisive idea. It's divide and conquer. It's how you soften the reaction of the player base. It is a genius PR move, don't get me wrong. Their marketing department clearly knows what they're doing. Admittedly, if they really knew what they're doing, they would not let Kotick speak ever again. But, well, you can't know everything. Maybe he's like the Murloc, he escapes their bonds. Now, one way or the other, they're going to make money hand over fist. And indeed, because some of it's going to charity, they're going to be able to sell a whole lot more of these things. $5 is still a lot more than $0, which is the cost of this thing. To replicate this infinitely, no cost, 0 cost, nothing. Completely automated. Doesn't require GMs or anything like that. Completely automated system, just spits out codes. It's very easy. Yes, $5 goes to Make-A-Wish, and I'm sure Make-A-Wish will be very happy about that. However, if they really wanted to prove that this was not simply a cynical cash grab, they would have given it all. And it would have had possibly even greater effect for PR. What's wrong with 100% for a couple of months, eh? They'll probably just go and buy the Lil KT anyway. Which is the other one. That's the pet that doesn't give to charity, I might add. What a great PR move. I mean, Activision actually have donated today $1 million to veterans. Which again, great PR move. Nothing wrong with that. Not gonna blast them for that. Charity money's charity money. But if they were really sincere about this, they would have given 100%. Not 50, not 70, not 80. 100%. It's nonsense. Now, this is the kind of thing that you expect from free-to-play games, because that is their method of financing. WoW has not gone down in price in terms of its subscription since its release. There are other games that have. WoW doesn't need to, of course, because it's got a big player base. Now, one wonders exactly why they would start to try and grab more money. Perhaps the subscriber base is falling. Perhaps WoW is not the massive cash cow that it used to be. Sales falling, subscribers leaving for other games, or just stopping playing MMOs altogether. Or maybe it's just an attempt to pump as much money out of the player base as humanly possible. But one way or the other, it is not behaviour that I personally can condone. At all. And I don't believe anyone should. It's dangerous. It sets a nasty precedent. They could do anything from here on in. Literally. And I don't think that gamers now, it's so invested in the game, who've been here for so long, that really don't want to leave. For God's sake, look at me, I haven't left. After all of this nonsense, after 4 years of doing Blue Please and highlighting possibly every problem in the game, I still haven't left the game. Admittedly, I quit out for a few months. I mean, I haven't played in a couple of months, but my account's still there. My subscription still runs. It's a long-term strategy, folks, to get you more and more and more invested in the game and throw more and more and more money at it. And it ain't healthy. It is not ethical. And I really don't like this idea about applying real value to items in-game. It's not good. Not good at all. That's my argument on the subject. I apologise if you are asking for more vitriol, but I think it's a very serious matter and it deserves serious attention and rationale. My name is Stop Biscuit, you're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. I've got an update news for you, and I'll be back after this to get a little bit more positive and present to you a solution to one of the biggest problems in game right now. Enjoy.
Live from the Blue Please Tower, high up in the Storm Peaks, it's Nubcake News with award-winning anchor Total Biscuit, bringing you the news that matters, regardless of your own misguided beliefs. Welcome to this week's edition of Nubcake News. Coming up later in the program, content, assuming you are willing to pay a $10 microtransaction fee in order to see it. But first, a word from our Supreme Lord and Master. The games Activision Blizzard didn't pick up don't have the potential to be exploited every year on every platform with clear sequel potential, and have the potential to become $100 million franchises. I think generally our strategy has been to focus on the products that have those attributes and characteristics. The products that we know that if we release them today, we'll be working on them 10 years from now. The goal that I had in bringing a lot of the packaged goods folks into Activision about 10 years ago was to take all the fun out of making video games. We have studio heads who 5 years ago didn't know the difference between a balance sheet and a bed sheet, who are now arguing allocations in our CFO's office pretty regularly. We are very good at keeping people focused on the deep depression. If it were left to me, I would raise prices even further. Now, allow me to demonstrate one of the new tracks from Guitar Hero 27. Take it away. Oh, well, my name is Bobby Kotick, and I will hit your soul with World of Warcraft. So race change to a belt to improve yourself. But I've got way more things that I can offer. Go on and spend your wealth. I'd buy a little KT. Go on and spend your wealth. I'd buy a little KT. Yeah. Well, I'm not a gamer. I'm here to profit. So I will charge you more for Modern Warfare. You better understand the value of a brand, and all that cash you'll spend goes in my pocket. You better spend your wealth on Modern Warfare 3. You better save your wealth for Modern Warfare 3. Yeah, you better spend your wealth for Modern Warfare 3. You better save your wealth for Modern Warfare 3. Yeah. Moon if you want, but I'll see you on the servers. Oh, but wait, no, I won't enjoy your 9v9 and 56k pay. Go on and spend your wealth and buy a little KT. Better prepare yourself for Modern Warfare 3. Yeah, you go regen your health with 60 FOV. I'll buy a god himself. I need a fried baby.